29 minutes past 3. Keep your calls coming in. Then 60 seconds to go on the definition quiz. 0800 218 2255. Keep your calls and your texts coming in for your crumpets preferences. And while we do that, let's look at today's Manchester People. I've really enjoyed this week. We're talking to Liz Taylor, a proper Mancunian, born here, raised here, and still living here. But she is the Millionaire Party Planner. Well, today Liz explains how things changed when she started planning parties for celebrations after years of working for corporate clients.
There was never a fine line. It wasn't defined. It's like pyramid selling. So Simon Moran, who is a huge guy in Manchester in the music industry, recommended me to Gary Barlow's PA when Gary was coming up to support children in need. I had at the time never met Simon, but he'd heard of my reputation. She contacted me. I got the Children in Need gig with Gary Barlow. Simon then recommended me to another. He looks after Peter Kay, Adele. I mean, he's huge. And he's been an amazing supporter and for, you know, with no agenda, amazing. But I suppose a mutual respect and recognition that he knows that I'm not going to let him down. Gary then introduced me to Robbie Williams, who then introduced me to Howard Donald, and so it went. And it is pyramid selling, but it's not because I'm in with the right people. It's because I assume that I do the best job. And so that's how the celebrity angle came in. And then I had all the Coronation Street cast. I've done their 40th, the 50th. I did Michelle Keegan's, Mark Wright's, because we're good. And sometimes it frightens me that people's perception is that we are a celebrity event organiser, because I'm not. I am just an event organiser that happens to have some high-profile clients.
What interests me is, and I love the word vulgar that you used earlier, and because you've done this for so many years and you know what's right and what works, is that quite often you're dealing with people that have come from, you know, very frugal backgrounds who've, you know, inherited money, be it business, be it in the corporate world or whatever. And their idea of what they think they want from a party might, in your mind, think, well, that's just vulgar. That's just not going to work. How does that work then? How does the relationship work?
My mantra is that this is very selfish, but I'm only as good as my last event. So how we walk away from that event shapes my future. So I would never let anybody do anything that would compromise my brand because I've worked too hard. And isn't really like being a bit like a psychologist. So you'd sit down and say, do you know what? I want 10 nude women on the bar and I want them with tassels. And I'd go, do you know what? I'm really not. Let's just look at a different way of making that work. And then just manipulating a little bit so it's still their idea and they've still got that sort of sexy, raunchy feel, but not vulgar and in your face and distasteful. And because I'm protecting my own interests. And I want that guy's next party. I don't want his friends to say, oh, it's an amazing night, but you know what? It was a little bit over the top. We don't want that. We want them to go away. I mean, I've had 2 nights in Edinburgh this weekend, a private client who took over a castle, and the emails that I've had have just been mega. And it was mega, and it was in the best possible taste. It's irrelevant to what they spent. It was mega, and that's where I need to be.
And when you have a really successful event and a particular theme and you've done something that's worked so well, where's the temptation to repeat that? Or do you always just move on and start from scratch?
Well, funnily enough, last weekend was Dorian Gray. The theme was Dorian Gray, which the client had picked. And this weekend, I've got Penny Dreadful. And they just totally different people. No connection. One client's down south, one client was from the northeast, and they both came up with a variation of. And so it's how I've interpreted it. Last weekend was sort of very elegant, in a castle, quite discreet, very grand. And this weekend, the client is off the wall fun, very quirky. She's an artist, and we've got some really mad stuff going on there. So that's what I like. That's what I love. I like to be able to see something from, you know, if I did you down the Yellow Brick Road, I do either Wicked and a variation of sort of the Wizard of Oz, that perspective, or the Yellow Brick Road with Dorothy's Red Shoe. But that's what I love.
Mm. And because you are this big character, it's understandable how you become friends with a lot of the clients. How do you feel about that relationship as it blossoms?
I'm very aware that I'm ultimately the hired help. And I don't mind that because it's my business. It's like, I have, in no pretentious way, only that I just love shopping and I never go, but I have a personal shopper at Selfridges, and she's my friend, but she's my personal shopper. And the fact that they feel that we are friends and I'm staff and they're using me. I mean, the family that I work for this weekend, I've worked for 27 years. I've done loads of stuff. That's friendship. That's loyalty. That's respect. That's integrity. That's friendship. Going out for a drink with somebody or having a meal with somebody can be fairly fickle. But I know that these people are my friends because they invest in me. And therefore, I give them 100% back. And I'm Pisces. And what bird sign are you?
Virgo.
Oh.
That would go well.
Well, Pisces are very loyal people, and so I've got some great friends, but I'm under no illusion.
I'm kind of curious now. What does that mean Virgos are? Maybe need to call Russell Grant just to find out. Right, tomorrow, final part of Manchester People this week. Really enjoyed it. Thanks to Liz for doing this today. She was obviously talking about her work in the professional capacity. Tomorrow, she's going to be talking about another line of her work as a lecturer.
That's at Manchester Met. And I normally have a great turnout, sort of 200, 300, 400, 500 students at a time. And it disturbs me a little bit because they're all, dedicated academics that are studying and looking to do something. When I started in this, there was no event management course at university. And it is a load of rubbish because they do not give you the skills that you need.
Final part of Manchester People with Liz Taylor tomorrow, 3:30 on BBC Radio Manchester. 25 minutes away from 4. Tell you what, the Dead Good show was dead good last night, so we'll look back at it next.